actually, really enjoy dirt racing. Feels good to get in the car, and we have, great cars and engines and things at KKR, so it's nice to drive a fast sprint car.
Couple of separate lines developing, three wide action on a turn two. Craig Kinzer, Casey Kane, and Garrett Pittman going at it.
I think the differences between, NASCAR and the sprint races on dirt is just a much different mindset. The way you drive your cars, the setup, the feel you're looking for. I think one of the hardest things to tell as a fan is when you're watching a race, whether it's a NASCAR race, a dirt race, is just what's really going on in the car. With iRacing, you can get the way that the track's changing, which they've done a great job in how the track changes throughout the night or throughout the race, just to try to capture it and let the fans play it and realize, like, man, there's actually a lot going on, and you can't always see that when you watch a race. So I think it's pretty neat. It's, enjoyable for me, but at the end of the day, it's actually much of a simulation, and there's a lot of ways that you can learn from that. And, early on, it was neat to look at the Cup tracks that I was going to, places that I had never been. So I think it kind of gives you a head start leading into a weekend. It's pretty real life, and that's pretty neat.
It was interesting this morning to come out here and get on the track and look closely at how rubber was starting to kind of take to the track, where there were ruts and spots that looked still like dirt, and other spots were super shiny and had a bluish tint.
We scanned this track twice because we needed to be able to measure the differences between the track before it's raced and after it's raced. With dirt track racing, the dynamics of the track change dramatically once it's raced on throughout the race. And by scanning it beforehand, we were able to gain a baseline that we're now able to compare with the scan from after the race. Take a look at the cushion, see where it's built up, see how deep it is, and try to figure out some of these variables that we'll have to account for when we create our digital representations of dirt racing and dirt tracks. Our associate producer, Kevin Einarelli, was actually quite the soldier, and he stayed here all night scanning so that we could get the second scan, because in the morning after the race, they ripped the track up. So the window that we have to collect that data is very limited. So thanks, Kevin. So we had a similar approach with the photography of this track that we had with the laser scan. We photographed it twice. So we were able to get in here right before the race started, right after all the trucks had finished running the track in, and take reference photography of the track. And then we returned today and took another set of reference photography, and we took photos of all the various elements that we need to account for: the cushion, the groove, the areas of the groove that have received rubber, and the apron. And we have a specific technique that we use to take these shots. We are using something called photogrammetry. What photogrammetry is essentially the science or a method which will allow us to take photographs and extract three-dimensionality from them using common elements between the photographs. And it's a great technique to create textures for our racing sim, and it's something we've been doing for a while, but it's especially helpful with dirt because of the three-dimensional characteristics of the dirt and the way it collects. So it's a really good technique, and it should result in a great looking racetrack.
A lot of what I'm seeing kind of confirms what we already believed and already knew and have already started working on. So, my plan is to get together with Dave Kamer and get in detail about what's going on between the tire and the road, because the ruts seem to be a significant piece of the puzzle, where the rubber shows up on top of the ruts. So getting the tire grip correct on a track that has as much variation as a dirt track does is going to be key.
We know that every racetrack, every dirt racetrack is unique. Different soil compositions, different color, different types of grooves develop depending on the different types of cars. So this process that we've gone through this weekend is not going to be a one-off thing. We're going to do it again, increase our knowledge, and we'll take that knowledge home with us, and it will help us create a better version of these tracks in iRacing.
So what are you afraid of? Those feelings are made up. For anyone asking who is the best, we putting our hands up.
4 more kilometers. Oh, there we go! They touch!
This time, like the last time, I'm moving so fast, I'm ready to ride.
Wonky! Down to the inside of Hoosie's off!
Passenger throws the block, and he will keep him behind him.
My time. None of you people can tell me to stop. Lower the lights down, hand over my crown, hand over my heart. I do this for my town, I do this for my crowd. So turn me up real loud. My time. None of you people can tell me to stop. Turning the track up, I'll never go back down. Hand over my heart, I do this for my town, I do this for my crowd. So turn me up real loud. My time. None of you people can tell me to stop.
Welcome back to the season of the Bonehead Racing Rookie Series. My name is Russell, and we say good evening to everyone that is watching here tonight. Welcome back to the Bonehead Racing Rookie Series for Season 2, the road to $200, as I've said last week, starts here at Daytona and will end at Homestead, Miami. 80 laps here tonight for the Daytona race that should bring a lot of fun to watch, not only for viewers at home, but also the racers out on the track. We have quite a bit of good racers here tonight. We also do have some more familiar faces. We will go through that right now. We are going to go on board here with John Horne. If you guys remember who John Horne is, he is a Pro Series driver, and he is now an admin here at BHR. We'll go back here. For people that do remember Garen Mash, He is also racing here tonight. And we do have some more familiar faces out here, such as Jeff Moore, as he will follow John Horne behind his car. Also, I do apologize for any stuttering that might happen. Tonight, I am all alone in here in the BHR booth, but that is not any problems, because we're having a great time here tonight, but we will be going back to commercial break while qualifying is going on. Also, I do want to remind everyone, please be mature with the chat. Do not cuss anyone out. Do not call anyone out on any mistakes they might have had. We ask you to please respect everyone. And if you are a racer here that is watching, if you do have a problem with that driver, please feel free to tell us. Do not be shy about it. So if there's any questions, we'll be more than happy to answer them. Till then, we are going on commercial.
I actually, really enjoy dirt racing. Feels good to get in the car, and we have, great cars and engines and things at KKR, so it's nice to drive a fast sprint car.
Couple of separate lines developing. Three wide action on a turn two. Craig Kinzer, Casey Kane, and Garrett Pittman going at it.
I think the differences between, NASCAR and the sprint races on dirt is just a much different mindset. The way you drive your cars, the setup, the feel you're looking for. I think one of the hardest things to tell as a fan is when you're watching a race, whether it's a NASCAR race, a dirt race, is just what's really going on in the cars. With iRacing, you can get the way that the track's changing, which they've done a great job in how the track changes throughout the night or throughout the race, just to try to capture it and let the fans play it and realize, like, man, there's actually a lot going on, and you can't always see that when you watch a race. So I think it's pretty neat. It's, enjoyable for me, but at the end of the day, it's actually much of a simulation, and there's a lot of ways that you can learn from that. And, early on, it was neat to look at the Cup tracks that I was going to, places that I had never been. So I think it kind of gives you a head start leading into a weekend. It's pretty real life, and that's pretty neat.
I want to welcome you all back. Qualifying is about to end here in about 36 seconds. So with that being said, we will be going over the grid here shortly through first to last. We have a 7-car field here tonight. Sorry, 8-car. Remember, I do want to mention that you only got 2 fast repairs, and that's all you have. You don't have more than 2, you have a 25x limit. If you don't know what a 25x limit, that is basically the amount of incidents you could have until you are disqualified from the race. Once you're disqualified from the race, you would have to have an admin clear your black flag, but even then, I don't even think you can. So, with that being said, we are on board here with Garen Mash. Garen Mash is from North Carolina. He, as he said last week, he does race real life, but also, speaking of that, the series is brought to you by the Rocket Speed Development Company. Also brought to you by for the Mr.E Performance Series. For legend car setups, call that number on your screen. If you have a legend car, you need to get it worked on, or you need help building a setup, that is the number you want to call down in North Carolina. So, with all that being said, this is the Bonehead Racing Rookie Series, and we say good evening to everyone that is watching here tonight. And another thing we gotta mention is this is our last season running the K&M Pro cars before we move on to the Truck Series. So with that being said, qualifying is pretty much over with here in about 7 seconds. We'll start going over the grid here shortly. We are running at the new Daytona for Daytona Rising on iRacing.com. We do recommend you get iRacing, come out here and have fun with us. iRacing is an online motorsport simulation that is not free, but it's not cheap as well. You gotta pay monthly to 3 months, a year, or to a 2-year plan. So with that being said, we will start going over the grid here right now. So with our starting out grid, gotta start first. Okay, apparently second place is not loading up. Apparently, I don't know what the deal is with that. But from what I am seeing here, from first place we have the number 89 of John Kennedy. Third place we have John Horne. I don't know what the deal is with the ticker, guys. Once again, I do apologize. Starting at fourth, we have Jeff Moore 2. Starting at seventh, we have Ronald Goodrich. And Jesus, I don't know what the deal is with the ticker, guys. I do apologize once again. But we'll be going to just straight up to the race. I don't know what the deal is. We'll have to do the grid once they roll out, because for some odd reason it just doesn't want to work properly. Yeah, it kind of a joke right now. But we are lining up here for the John Horne 200. 200 miles, 80 laps here at Daytona. Once the field starts rolling out, that's when maybe the grid format is supposed to fix itself. So we will be going through the grid once they start pacing out. Alright. Yeah, still same thing. Sorry, guys. Don't know what the deal is, but I will just go through the list. Starting in first place, we have the 89 of John Kennedy. Starting in second place, we have the 94 of Raleigh Bunker. Starting in third place, we have John Horne. Starting in fourth place, we have Jeff Moore. Starting in fifth, we have a 3-car of Ray Perzu. I do apologize if I'm saying that name wrong. Starting in sixth, we have the number 12 of Garen Mesh. And then rounding out the field here tonight, we have the 20-car of Ronald Goodrich. We have a good amount of keep stuttering. We have a good amount of racers here tonight, getting ready to go racing here for the John Horne 200. 80 laps around here at Daytona. Anything could happen, but this is a long race, 200 miles compared to the Pro Series of BHR that does 250 miles at every track. So, pace car looks like is making its way through turn 3 and 4. Also, guys, again, I'm soloing this here tonight. Make sure, if you guys want to place bets on cars, do so right now. We will do multiple crank it ups here tonight. But it looks like pace car is getting ready to pull off here onto pit road. Pace car is off. They are waiting for the green flag to show. Green flag is out here at Daytona. First out of 80 laps, the 89 of John Kennedy has the advantage as of right now. John Horne looking behind that number 94 of Robbie Bunker. I do apologize if I do say that wrong once again. We'll go on board here for a quick second on Robbie's car. As we see, he is an A-Class 3.23. He knows how to play it smart. We're going to go to his gearbox, see what everyone else is doing back there. Everyone else is just spread out back there, looking for a way to get in there. Long race here tonight. We will be having a lot of fun. It looks like number 3 of Ray is going to the back. He's going to fall back. Garen Mash. He is going to help out the number 3 car a little bit. As we see on his inside, there is number 66 of Jeff Moore. Jeff Moore is wasting no time to get up to the front of the pack. As Garen looks like he's going to possibly give him a little bump. For the 3 car, no, he is not. The 3 car jumps down in front of the number 90. Sorry. I can't really tell what that number is, unfortunately. But as we see, the 89 of John Kennedy is working his way through the pack. Well, not really much of a work when you're in the lead. But the 94, he is still there looking for his chance to take it to the front. Everyone is side by side. As we will come across the line next time by, we will do a short crank it up, just let the engines do the talking. The 94 of Robbie. He is close to that rear bumper, but he is not going to make any stupid moves, such as bumping the corner. Bumper hooking is a lot with these cars. They're known to have bumper hooks every now and then, but right now it looks like everyone is playing it safe, taking it nice and easy, trying to conserve those 2 fast repairs. We will be doing a crank it up as of right now once they cross the line. What a save by Garen Mesh. Back there coming out of turn number 4. It looks like he got a little bit loose coming out of turn 4, but everyone's got to know, you got to be careful with those bumpers when you're pushing in the corner. It could end very badly. As we see, Garen is trying to make that move on the outside with John Horne. With these cars, you can easily do a 2-car tandem, just like the old car of tomorrow with the old spoilers. As we see, Garen and that 89 are side by side. A little bit of contact there coming out of turn number 3. It looks like he might have just got too close there. I don't know what the deal was with that, but it happens. You bump and run with these. As we see, he does have a bit of spoiler damage as we'll go on board with John Horne. Or, sorry about that. We'll go back on board with John Kennedy on his in-car. Yeah, you can see there's a little bit of right side rear end damage there. That happens every now and then with these cars, but it doesn't really seem like it's affecting the draft too much and slowing him down. But as we see, he's giving a little bump to Garen Mesh. As we are coming up on a lap car, the number 95 of Matt Banks, or Bonkos, I do apologize once again if I'm saying that wrong. It looks like that'll make Garen drop down through the pack a little bit. Garen's falling back down to 3rd place. He'll jump down in front of that number 20 of Ronald. Looks like John Horne and Garen are still working together. They're going at it. Oh, John's blinking a little bit, but not too bad. John Kennedy is still defending off that number 94 of Robbie Bunker. Or Bunkner. I think that's how you say it. Robbie, if you're watching, I do apologize once again. The number 89 looks like he might have a bit of competition. It doesn't look like it. Garen did seem like he's going to be a factor coming onto the outside line, but he wasn't. And if this race goes all the way green, there is going to have to be at least one green flag pit stop. If there's a green flag pit stop, then that's going to probably change stuff up. It will happen. But we do have some newcomers here tonight. The only newcomer we really have is Ray. He's really the only newcomer here tonight. He did apply last night, and everything checked out with him. This is what it's like to have $200 on the line. People don't want to race too aggressive at the start of the race, but they do want to race hard and have fun. That's the whole point of this league, is just to race and have fun. As we will go back to Garen, oh, he blinked out majorly. As the 89 still has no competition, really. We'll go back all the way back here to the number 66 of Jeff Moore. If you guys remember who Jeff Moore was, he was a shootout person that when he came into this league, he said he isn't here for the money. He's here to have fun and race. That's what you want to find in a good racers. He just wants to have fun. As we see, the number 3 of Ray, he is making his way up there. But is that going to be enough? He might be, because John Horne's coming out of nowhere. He is going to work his way up with the number 3 of Ray. As we will go back all the way to Garen Mash. He dropped like a fly, but he is back there. He's going to have fun. We also do have the number 95 of Matt. He is a lap down, I do believe, from the start of the race. Yeah, 2 laps down. So he should get his wave around if a caution was to come out. As we see at number 3, he's trying to be competition towards the 89 car, but will it be enough competition to get it past? Because he has the number 14 and number 12 helping him, as the 12 will drop down to the inside line, coming down to the inside of John Horne. John Horne looks like he's pretty comfortable with the outside line, as Garen will go back up to the outside line with John. The number 3 will lead a lap here in the league, as they almost gone 3 wide coming into turn number 1. The number 3 goes to the lead. The 89 is going to help out the number 3 a little bit. John Horne has help from Garen Mesh, as the 3 blocks up the 89. Now the 3 is getting a little bit of help from the 89. As we will go to his gearbox camera, you can see how tight this racing is. That's how people want it to be. It's just really tight racing to have fun. As we go back to the TV camera, looks like John Horne will take up the lead out of that. He will drop down in front of the number 3 car of Ray. So John Horne goes to the lead. Garen Mesh coming right behind him as Garen will get turned. Caution flag is out here at Daytona. We'll go back there a little bit. Check it out, see what's going on. As we're going to go on board with Garen. Yeah, looks like side drafting, and looks like the the number 3 car slid up a little bit coming out of turn number 2. Stuff like that does happen, but will that be a fast repair? That might be a fast repair because that took up quite a bit of the field, as we will see that camera shot right there. We're going to go back 10 seconds and have it at normal speed. We're going to see what happened there and see how many people got collected up in that. Yeah, it looks like he just slid up too hard, and it happens. But that is going to most certainly be a fast repair for the number 12, Garen Mash. As we go back with John Horne, we're going to see what happens here coming down pit road. Will people pit? Will people stay out? That's what people got to start asking you. Will they stay out? As we will go pull some people in here for some quick interviews. Hey, John Horne, this is Russell. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got a copy.
So, we saw what happened there with Garen. What is your strategy right now with pit road getting ready to come open here?
I'm going to stay out.
So,
I have no reason to pit right now.
So you
Tires only got 15 laps on it.
So we saw you help out Garen in the 3 car up there a little bit, going for the lead, and then you got yourself up there and dodged a bullet with the wreck behind you. So is there any strategy else you got to play out when it goes back to green flag racing?
I'm probably going to get past here because it seems like everybody pitted. So they're going to have fresher tires than me. But if I can keep it up in the lead, I'll be happy.
All right, what about your fuel strategy? Because I think you would have to pit at least once here at Daytona with the fuel mileage you have.
You can get about 40, 45 laps in on a tank of fuel. So a lot of these guys that are pitting now will have to pit again.
Well, we'll keep rooting on for you, and we wish you the best of luck then.
All right, thank you.
That was John Horne for you. He is a runner-up, as well as some of the other guys. We're going to go back here and check out Garen Mesh. He is out. Everyone has almost one pit stop. The only people that don't have pit stops is John Horne and apparently Garen Mesh. Even though it looks like he's on a fresh car, it could just be a mix-up. But the pit road looks like it's going to be, with these standings, it's going to be John Horne, Ronald Goodrich, Jeff Moore, Ray Perzu? I do apologize once again if I am saying it wrong. Then Garen Mesh, Robbie Bunker, John Kennedy, then Matt Bankos. As the lights on the pace car are still not out. This racing has been good so far. This is our first caution out of 80. We had just had a 15-16 green flag run here at Daytona. So we're going to go be right back, and we will be back. back for the green flag when it comes back out here at Daytona. We are back live here at Daytona on board with John Horne. As we heard, he has quite a bit of the strategy, but as he said, you can make it on 40 laps on a simple tank of fuel. That is going to be an easy strategy. Run half the race, pit halfway, or try conserving during cautions. Try to push that fuel as much as you can until you absolutely have to pit. But as we see, they're getting double file back up here, as they should be getting ready to go back green here. We're going to go all the way back to Garen Mash. He is all the way back in 5th place. That is normal for someone that gets in a wreck and has to go use a fast repair. As we go back up here to John Horne, we will get ready to see the pace car drop off. We will actually go on board with John Horne for the lap once the green flag drops out here on Daytona. And we will crank it up a little bit for about 2 laps. Let the engines do the talking. Once again, as soon as pace car pulls off, that's when everything will happen. So we're going to go on his gearbox again real quick here, show you what he's looking at. That's what he's looking at in his mirror. That's at Daytona. Anyone has the chance to win here. But pace car's getting ready to drop off, so we're going to let the cars do the talking for a couple laps. As we saw there, obviously a bumper hook might have happened. We're going to go back in the cameras, take a look at what happened there. We're going to go back to the good old instant replay. That looked like Garen had a huge run. Looks like the 66 came down a little bit. From that angle, I really don't know what to say on that angle. We're going to go on board with the 66, see what happened there. Yeah, it looks like he started coming down a little bit. That was just a bad call from the 12 car, trying to make it 3 wide right off the bat, back on the restart. So that'll probably take Garen down another fast repair. Yeah, hood damage, front end damage, left side damage, possibly right side damage as well, as we will see Jeff Moore come down pit road as well. That's probably his next fast repair, unless if he has another one. As we see on Garrett Mash, he's going to have to use his last fast repair. There was really no reason for people to be taking a 3 wide off the bat. That was just not a smart move in his mind. Looks like Jeff Horne is going to have to come down the lap early, or a couple laps early than he wanted to. So, the only people are staying out are, well, a couple lap cars, I do believe. Yeah, looks like he's going to get his lap back. Ronald Goodrich is your new leader out here at Daytona. We'll be going to a quick commercial break. Right back. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, that was the newest ad from iRacing. You guys should really get iRacing. I recommend this simulator so much. It is a great sim. It's a lot of fun to have if you're driving with the right people. As we saw, Garen's actually didn't take his fast repair. Now that's conserving a fast repair if I've ever seen one. Now, the green flag should be getting ready to come out here next time around. So, let us know in the chat, who is your favorite driver? Who do you want to win this race? We will go on board with the leader, and we will go on his gearbox so you guys can see the pack behind him. We do have 8th place back there of Jeff Moore. But I will be right back myself. I am going to go adjust my fan real quick, so we will just out. Ours will be on. My mic will be off for a second. as it looks like we're getting ready to go back green here. I have returned. Garen Mash is your current 4th place sitter, as it's showing him as 3rd place now. Now, he could get in the way here, guys. He is a damaged car, and damaged cars at restrictor plates are not the smartest idea to have out there. As we'll go back up here, it looks like Ray is starting on the outside of Ronald Goodrich. Right? 8 people out here tonight. Everyone seems to be on the lead lap. So far, we have people with 3 pit stops, 4 pit stops. We have a lot of people with a lot of pit stops out here tonight. It happens. Wrecks here at Daytona, they happen, unfortunately. As much as I don't want to see them, it just happens. Alright, as we see the pace car getting ready to make that dive onto pit road. Garen Mash right behind the number 20 car. Will the 20 car get that restart of a lifetime? It looks... There it is. Green flag is out. That 20 car of Ronald, he is off. Followed by Garen Mash. It looks like the damage is not holding him back at all. I am quite surprised with that. These cars, usually when they get that much damage, that messes them up. But it looks like it's showing no problems with Garen. As we start to see him fall back a little bit, now that's probably where it starts having its problems. As we see that number 20 is trying to hold off the number 3 of Ray, but will Ray get past him coming into turn 3? Almost. Yeah, he gets past him coming in turn number 3. John Horne is on the outside of number 20 of Ronald. But is he going to stay there, or is he going to drop back behind him? We are going to take a look at the number 3 car. It looks like there's a little bit of door action there, as everyone mostly has one fastest pair now. As we see the 3 car having that hold off the number 20 and the number 14, but here comes the rest of the pack. Number 95, 94, and the number 89, all back there. Jeff Moore is also back there. He is waiting for that wreck to happen. As we would go, Garen's in pit road, getting his last fastest pair. Now the 3 and the 20 are in their own little tandem, coming on to lap 26 of 80. As we see, there's still plenty of race left to go on here tonight. As the 20 looks like he's trying to make a move to the inside, but he's not going to let that happen. The fastest line around here at Daytona is the inside line. As we see that 20 car, he's getting a bit aggressive. As the 3 goes below the apron a little bit, almost sparking another wreck. As we see John Horne almost get into the wall coming into turn number 1. It looks like the 95, he is coming up from 2 laps down. He did not start the race. Looks like the 3 almost gets the 14 in the left rear quarter panel. But let's go take it back. Okay. Garen Mash coming back out, as he sparks the wall again. And there goes another wreck. Caution will not come out just yet. What I'm seeing, caution is not out. That is off the racing surface. As we see here, the number 29, or sorry, the number 20, now the caution comes out after what happened there. As we will go back and take a look at what happened here. Yeah, that was just not a smart move whatsoever. That was just not a move that needed to be made. As we'll go back here. Yeah, that was the move that should not have been made. As we go back here, we're going to go take a look here and see what happened. But we'll be back here in a second, guys. We're going to go back on our commercial break. I got to deal with something real quick. Also, if the commercial is cut short, I do apologize in advance.
It was interesting this morning to come out here and get on the track and look closely at how rubber was starting to kind of take to the track, you know, where there were ruts and spots that looked still like dirt, and other spots were super shiny and had a bluish tint.
We scanned this track twice because we needed to be able to measure the differences between the track before it's raced and after it's raced. With dirt track racing, the dynamics of the track change dramatically once it's raced on throughout the race. And by scanning it beforehand, we were able to gain a baseline that we're now able to compare with the scan from after the race. Take a look at the cushion, see where it's built up, see how deep it is, and try to figure out some of these variables that we'll have to account for when we create our digital representations of dirt racing and dirt tracks. Our associate producer, Kevin Einarelli, was actually quite the soldier, and he stayed here all night scanning so that we could get this second scan, because in the morning after the race, they ripped the track up. So the window that we have to collect that data is very limited. So thanks, Kevin. So we had a similar approach with the photography of this track that we had with the laser scan. We photographed it twice. So we were able to get in here right before the race started, right after all the trucks had finished running the track in, and take reference photography of the track. And then we returned today and took another set of reference photography, and we took photos of all the various elements that we need to account for: the cushion, the groove, the areas of the groove that have received rubber, and the apron. And we have a specific technique that we use to take these shots. We are using something called photogrammetry. What photogrammetry is essentially the science or a method which will allow us to take photographs and extract three-dimensionality from them using common elements between the photographs. And it's a great technique to create textures for our racing sim, and it's something we've been doing for a while, but it's especially helpful with dirt because of the three-dimensional characteristics of the dirt and the way it collects. So it's a really good technique, and it should result in a great looking racetrack.
A lot of what I'm seeing kind of confirms what we already believed and already knew and have already started working on. So, you know, my plan is to get together with Dave Kamer and get in detail about what's going on between the tire and the road, because the ruts seem to be a significant piece of the puzzle, where the rubber shows up on top of the ruts. So getting the tire grip correct on a track that has as much variation as a dirt track does is going to be key.
We know that every racetrack, every dirt racetrack is unique. Different soil compositions, different color, different types of grooves developed depending on the different types of cars. So this process that we've gone through this weekend is not going to be a one-off thing. We're going to do it again, increase our knowledge, and we'll take that knowledge home with us, and it will help us create a better version of these tracks in iRacing.
Alright, we are back. These guys have been instructed to tone it down a little bit with the aggression. We're only 30 out of 80 laps here. Third caution of the night, I do believe. Still some good racing, but that takes out a couple cars. We got a couple cars still got some fast repairs. Looks like Aaron Mash is out of fast repairs. John Kennedy is back out. He used a fast repair. John Horne still out. I think he has some rear end damage, but yes, he has a little bit of rear end damage, but rear end damage doesn't really have much affection on these cars, but looks like they're getting ready to go back to green flag racing here. Elias and the pace car are out. question is, we gotta ask each other, when will that flag be dropped for the white? It could be an hour from now. Daytona is a 2.5-mile track, unlike Talladega, and correct me if I'm wrong here. Talladega is a 2.65-mile track. That also is a restrictor plate. These cars could hit well over 200 here at Daytona and Talladega. As we will get ready to go back green here, we will see. Pace car gets ready to make that dive down on the pit road. The number 3 car is waiting to see that green flag as he is getting ready to get on the throttle. There he goes. Green flag is back out here at Daytona. We are 32 out of 80 laps complete. As we see, everyone's toning it down a little bit. John Horne is coming back up behind that number 3 car. Number 95 is getting no help from the number 20. Now he's getting a little bit of help, as the 20 will not dive down behind John Horne. The 94 is coming up behind the number 14, followed by the 89. Garen Mash is still in pit road. Jeff Moore is hanging back out in the pack as once again playing it smart. As we see, the number 95 is going straight for the lead. Will he clear him? Yes, he will. The 95 drops down in front of the number 3. Will the 20 drop down behind the number 3? That's another question you got to ask. The question is, no, he is going to stay on that outside line. Here comes John Horne to help out the number 20, get up there to the front of the pack. As we see, the number 20 that time led that lap. So far, it looks like everyone's keeping her nice and chill. The number 95 almost got into number 20 coming out of turn number 2. If you guys don't know why their cars are all swervy right now, it's because of the new tire model iRacing added with the new K&Ns. They add realistic tire wear to the tires for the NASCAR K&N Pro Series cars. As we see, John Horne's getting no help. As we want to go back here to the number 3, they're all holding back a little bit. As we see, Garen is still in pit road, I think, getting repairs. As we saw, John Horne almost took a 3 wide coming into the tri-oval. Now here comes the number 3, followed by the 89 and the 94. Will he make a move? He is thinking about it, but he is not. As we see that number 20 getting a bit aggressive once again. We're going to go on his gearbox. As you can see, restrictor plate racing has very tight bump drafting to drafting angles. If you guys remember the first season, we were at the 2007 version of Daytona. The 2007 version of Daytona is extremely bumpy. As the number 14, as we have a wreck behind, caution is out. Looks like, yeah, the number 3. Number 3 just annihilated the 95. Let's go on board here. He might have thought he was clear, but I don't think he was. Yeah, that's a hard call to say if it was intentional or if it wasn't. I think the number 3's race is over. As we will be right back, I'm going to leave the screen on and I'm going to mute the sound. All right, we have returned. The number 3 car will be receiving a 1-lap penalty for a move that was unnecessary. So as it definitely could have been like that, but that move was just uncalled for, as we have the number 95 disconnect from the race. I'm not a good expert on what happened there, but as we see, that move was just not necessary. You're all racing for the lead, but there's no reason to try cutting down on someone like that. If he doesn't have a spotter on, he needs to turn that spotter on, because if there's no spotter, then that will not only ruin someone else's day, but it could ruin his day as well. As we see, he is not back out yet. As Garen is getting back around, trying to get on the lead lap, Ronald is your current leader. 7 cars remain here in the field, as Garen is still getting his way around. Ryan is still posted in pit road. The 66 looks like he's also getting his lap back as well. As we will go on his board, yeah, he was a lap down, so he will get his lap back as well. As I've said before, we are almost halfway done with this race. There is no reason at all for them to be racing this hard. When it comes down to the final 20, that gets understandable. But there's just no reason for them to be racing like that, like it's the last lap at lap 35. We're all here to have good, clean racing, and the first part of the race was so clean. It really was. But as the stuff goes on, we do give punishments out during the race. Our strike system is, you cause a wreck, it's EOL. That's if you own up to it. If you don't own up to it, you get immediate strike 2, and that's hold for 1 lap in the pit road. After that, if you cause another wreck, and if you were not to own up to it, and we found out that you were guilty, you will be parked for the rest of the race. So, with that being said, these guys know what the deal is. And they will be reminded once again that we do not tolerate any type of wrecking. Yeah, we understand some wrecks are racing related, that's fine. But for there to be constant wrecking, that is not acceptable for us. We try to make it fun and all that, but you gotta have the strict rules. That is a given. As we see, Ray is still on pit road. He ain't moving. And Garen, well, I think we are down to 6 racers. I think he might have used all of his fast spares. Garen, I don't know what just happened there. We're going to go back 5 seconds. It looks like, yeah, it looks like he was trying to come down pit road. They could probably get some more repairs. Just looks like he shift down too early. As we're going to go back up here with the pack, only 4 people on the lead lap. Sorry, 5 people. Jeff Morris currently in pit road as well. There's your leader right there, the number 20 of Ronald Goodrich. As they will get ready to restart back on lap 40. That will be the halfway mark for this 80 lap event. Next week we go to Michigan for 100 laps. for a 200 miles race. And if restrictor plate racing, yeah, it's going to be a mess sometimes. So Michigan should be a lot cleaner and a lot more better racing, and hopefully a better turnout. All right, pace car pulls off into pit road. It looks like the green flag will come out. We are racing back here at Daytona for the halfway mark. John Horne still on his outside, still there. He's trying to get past him, but they all know it's only halfway. There is no reason to race like it's the last lap. Yeah, too wide racing is always fun, but as we go back here, it looks like Garen's out of pit roads. Jeff Moore is still sitting in the pit road getting his repairs. Garen Mash is 2 laps down, currently getting ready to go 3 laps down. As we see, the 89 is giving the number 20 a good little push. John Horne is falling back to the back, gonna ride out the storm back there behind the number 94 of Robbie Buckner. As we see, the 89 still sitting behind him. People know they don't want to make the hard call right now. They don't want to make a move. They just want to ride it out. You want that guy in front of you to pull you around the track here at Daytona or at Talladega. And just like the Cup Series, anywhere you go now, they wanted to make it like restrictor plate racing, and that's what they did. You're constantly on the gas with the Cup cars, and you rely on the guy in front of you to pull you around so you don't have to use as much fuel. But even then, that's still quite a bit. But as we see, the 89 was giving a nice little push there. We're going to go on the gearbox view of the number 20. You can see how close he is to that rear bumper. As John Horne is still single file back there. I thought he was too wide back there for a second. As we see the 89, you can see that car does not like the new tire model that much. We're going to go on board here with him so we can see what it's going to do. As we see he's got his pink fire suit on for breast wear or breast cancer awareness. Yeah, as we see, there's not much movement, but these tires, they wear off so easily these days. It's a little bit ridiculous, to be honest. As we see Jeff Moore, he's still in pit road. Garen, he's out in 5th place. As we'll go take a look at him. Yeah, he's out there. I think his race is probably almost done, but as we see, he is trying to make a living out there. But as we go back here, John Horne is going back too wide, trying to get past that 94. The 94 is now giving that 89 a nice little shove to the front of the pack. As we're getting ready to come back across the line, coming to lap 44. The number 89 and number 94, they seem like they work pretty well together. As we see John Horne back there battling out with Ronald Goodrich. As the number 20 goes below the yellow line. That was not a good call for that number 20. As much as I'd say it, but it happens. It happens. John Kennedy out in front of the 94. As I thought I heard, oh yes. Garen Mash is currently getting ready to get passed by the leaders here. As we see, that 94 is giving that 89 a good solid push to the front of the pack once again to get further out there. But the goal of restricted plate racing is you don't want to get too far out there. If you get too far out there, you will get passed like nothing. As we see, they're starting to get a little bit squirrely as Garen, he is looking to the outside line as he will get passed cleanly. He'll fall in behind the draft of the number 20. Number 14 looking back to the outside lane with that number 14 Home Depot car. The number 94 back on that bumper of the 89. You got to be careful as the 20 goes below the yellow line once again. We're going to go on board here with the number 20 of Ronald Goodrich. As we see, his gap is 183. That is a gap that you want to try to close in, come to the final laps, because we are in the main season now. As we see, clouds are covering nice, people are driving nice and clean. As the 94 almost got a little bit of bumper hook there. We're going on board with the 94 for a quick second. As we see, his gap is a lot closer, 0.066. He has the opportunity to pass, but he is not making that move just yet. As he almost bumper hooks the 89 car. As we go back on the rear bumper, that could have been really bad right there. If he got into that rear bumper, he could have easily turned around that car. But as we see, the two cars are still in pit road. They haven't changed one bit. So we're going to take a quick little break from the voice, and we're going to let the cars doing the talking. Back here at the booth. If you guys enjoyed that little cranker up, let us know in the chat. But as we see here, the number 94 still on that rear bumper of the 89. He knows there's no reason to make a hard move that could cost him the race or could cost the 89 the race. As Jeff Moore, I think, just disconnected out of the race here today. I do believe he did disconnect. Alright. So that means Garen Mesh. Garen's also gone, so now we are down to only 5 drivers. 4 on the lead lap. We are lap 51 out of 80 complete here. As we see Robbie Bunkner going straight for the lead now. Trying to pass at 89 as he's going to get some help from the number 20. As now he drops down in front of that 89 car. The number 20 is going to have to go back behind that 89 car to get past him. As he is not dropping down, so I think that might be part of his strategy. Nope, there he goes. Down to the inside, waiting for the 89 to make a mess up or something. As we see here, the number 94 is getting a little bit of help from the 89. And they know these cars bumper hook quite easily. But that should all change here shortly. Once again, I do want to remind everyone, next week we are off to Michigan for the Michigan race for 100 laps. Also, looks like now the 94 has to hold off 89 a little bit. The 89 looks like he wants to make that move on the outside line, but the question is, will that number 20 help the 89? It does not look like it, unfortunately. As number 14 gets ready to pass the number 20. Number 14 did not make that move successfully, as now the number 20 has to hold off the 14, such as the 94 has to hold off that number 89. Looks like that 20 wants to make that move to the inside, but I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon right now, as we're getting ready to come to 20 laps to go. Looks like that 89 looking a little bit. The question is, will that 89 take that move early and risk having the opportunity to jump out at the last moment? That's another question they got to ask themselves. Do they want to make that move? If I was racing, I wouldn't make that move. I'd just drive and have fun and just ride out the race. Looks like that 89 still peaking a little bit. It could be his oil temps, but I could be wrong. Looks like the 20 getting a little bit of help from the number 14 of John Horne, but they look like they're playing it safe, as a 20 is now closing in on that number 89. As we're going to go back here to the number 20 of Ronald Goodrick. We see his gap is closing in a little bit to that leader. As he almost just got on someone's right rear. Gotta stay off that right rear bumper, because if you get on it, that could cause a wreck and, well, take you out of the race, take everyone else out of the race. And number 89 looks like he's trying to make that move, but he is not. That 94 still looking. He's looking at his mirror. He's mirror driving the car probably right now a little bit. As we see, he's holding his line perfectly straight. That's what you gotta do with these cars. Sometimes you gotta turn in a little bit harder than you need to, but other than that, looks like everyone is keeping her nice and clean. As the number 3 is still in pit road. He hasn't disconnected yet. He wants those points. He really wants those points. As we see that 89 car now looking to the outside. He is starting to make the move. Here comes the number 20 to help him out a little bit. John Horne still on the inside lane. Still waiting for that one move that could give him the race. As the 89 and the 20s starting to come down a little bit. The 20 will also make that successful pass. John Kennedy is your new leader. Now the 94 is going back to the outside line, trying to take back his lead. John Horne coming down into pit road, making his green flag pit stop. We are getting late. We're getting ready to have 20 laps to go here. You'll see it on the board once it hits lap 60. As we see that 94 got blocked by that 89. Here comes the number 20. The number 20 is looking to that inside to get past that 89. The 94 will not make that move just quite yet. As the 94 is still on the outside with the 89. The 89 is going to drop down behind the number 20. As we go back here to John Horne. John Horne uses fast repair, and he is getting ready to be lapped by the cars. Now we are on lap 58 out of 80. Number 20, 89, 94, 14. They are running 1, 2, 3, and 4 as of right now. But the number 14 is getting ready to go down one lap. The number 3 of Ray has not disconnected. He is hoping to get that car repaired and get it fixed up to come back out on the racing surface. The 89 is still looking to his inside a little bit, but he is probably trying to cool off his car a little bit, so when the time comes, he can make that move on the outside lane or work his way into the inside somehow. As I should have probably turned off the onboard ticker deal. I do apologize for that, guys. Probably wasn't necessary. But as we see the number 14 getting ready to go a lap down here. Looks like that 14 is going to go one lap down as we're getting ready to hit 20 laps to go. Once we hit 20 to go, we are going to do an air crank it up for 5 laps straight. And here comes John Horne. Will John Horne jump down front and try to keep him on the main lap? Doesn't look like it. That number 14 is getting ready to get lapped, as John Horne will get lapped here at Daytona. We are at lap 60. We're getting ready to have 20 laps to go, so we will go do one last crank it up. Alright, that'll include our 5-lap crank here up. As we see, number 89 was trying to make a little bit of move on the number 20 machine, as John Horne is still keeping his lap. The question is, will John Horne get in the way on the coming to final laps? That is a good question people got to ask. Will he get in the way to where it'll mess people up? That's a good question people ask themselves. If it's a lap car, yeah, they get in the way if you're trying to win a race, but it happens. It really does happen. As we see that number 94 looking to the outside a little bit, the 89 car not making any moves with 94. Number 14 is not jumping, and the 89 is kind of just trying to think of helping the 94, and the 94 is now getting help from the 89. As 94 will be your new leader coming on the backstretch. Looks like John Horne is going to help out that number 20 car. If John Horne gets behind that number 20, it could have a good finish result. It would be 1, 2, 3, 4. But at this point, if there's no caution, John Horne, I think, might be done for the rest of the night. I very well could be wrong. As we have 14 laps to go in this race, as we will see here coming out of turn number 2. The 94 is falling back behind the number 20 car. John Horne getting a little bit more help from that number 20 car, but will that be enough to get John Horne back on that lead lap that he wants to be on? That might not happen. We're getting ready to come to 13 laps to go. Once it hits 10 laps and there's no caution, that might be race. With the amount of cars we had here tonight, we had a total of 4 to 5 cautions. If someone wants to count them, you are more than welcome to. But I think we had 4 or 5 cautions. As that 94 almost got on that rear bumper on that number 20 and almost turned him around. The number 20 car is only a C-class driver. That is not the best class, but it's not the worst. The number 94 coming on the bumper, that number 20, trying to push him out of the way a little bit, but that is not happening. The 89 is looking on that outside of the number 94. The number 89 got into the wall. As we saw, he must have had something happen with his wheel. No caution. We will go back and take a quick little look on what happened there. We're going to go on board with him. Yeah, that looks like it might have been a delay on a wheel or something. I don't know what happened there, but stuff like that does happen, unfortunately. So that leaves only first and second place out there to race, unless if a caution was to come out. Which the way it's looking, that number 89, I think his race is not done unless if a caution, unless if he was to completely wreck out. He could still finish that in third place if he was to hold off John Horne. That could be a good question. So we had 5 cautions for an 8-car field. Not good, but not bad. As we have officially 10 laps to go. Next time by, they cross that line. As we see John Horne still holding off at number 20. As there's still no caution. The number 89 is in pit road, so he will be getting past coming out of turn 4. Unless if he's able to get back up to speed, which I don't think he will. Yeah, I think his race is over with. Just like a couple other guys. He now goes 1 lap down. John Horne is your now third place finisher. As we will see the number 20 and the 94 are trying to battle out coming to the final laps. As the Now he is out of pit road. Still no cautions out on the track. As a 94 looks down to that inside. He's trying to make that move. As we do have overcast, we're going to go to the blimp shot here. Give you a good idea of what's going on. They keep going below that yellow line. If they go below that yellow line in the turn, that will cause their car to get extremely loose and possibly spin out. As they're coming out turn number 4, that 94 is not making any moves. As he tries going to the outside, no, he does not. John Horne still holding off his third place. As we will go back here to John Kennedy to see what's going on over here. Yeah, he's one lap down, but it doesn't matter at this point. People are racing for their lives and trying to get this race over with. 9 laps to go, getting ready to get 8 laps to go at the line. As we will go back to the TV2 camera. John Horne still holding him off. John has the car to hold them off for as long as he can. But it looks like there might not be any caution flags. If there's a caution coming up here in the next couple laps, if it's less than 3 to go, it'll be a guaranteed green-white checkered. They will have 5 attempts for a green-white checkered. That'll give people the chance to go out. As we see, the number 3 of Ray, he is back out on the track with a damaged race car. He's going to try to stick it out the rest of the way. As we go back to the 94 of Robbie, it looks like the number 20 is making his pit stop. Does the 94 have the gas to make it around? We will find out here. He's coming out of turn number 2. We're going to stay on board with him and see if he makes that dive down on the pit road. If he does not make that dive down on the pit road, he will have enough fuel to finish this race, possibly. He could have 8, 9 laps left of fuel. He might just barely have enough. As we will see here, he is not coming down on pit road just yet. He is still waiting behind John Horne to make that move. And the number 20 of Ronald, he just exited pit road. He is now 1 lap down. Will this number 94 come down pit road and get the fuel he needs? Will he get it? That is the question he needs to ask. I do apologize for that cough once again. As you can see, his windshield is extremely dirty. It looks like he's fallen off the pace a little bit. Look at that right bottom gauge, right under his RPM gauge, as he's not making a dive. If that gauge starts dropping like a fly, then his race could be very well over. If it runs out on the backstretch, you might have enough to coast around. It looks like that gauge is starting to drop a little bit for fuel pressure, but it is not going down fast enough, so that is not what the number 20 wanted to see or hear. As we see, it's not dropping much, but it is dropping a little bit. Will he make that dive down onto pit road as he gets followed up behind the 89? That 94, if John Horne played it out right, he could still have that race. They're coming out turn number 4. The 94 is not making that move down the pit road. As we see, that 14, he will get a second place finish here tonight if everything was to go well. If everything does not go in his favor, his race will be over. The 94 checks up a little bit. Let's go back on board. It does not look like that fuel is running out, so that's a good sign for him. As we go back here to the number 3, he is in pit road once again. The number 20 is back out on the track as well. John Kennedy is out on the track. As we go back with the number 94, will he make that move? Is it race? Is it going to cost him the race if he does not pit? He does have a good, solid lead over second place, third, and fourth. That's what he's got to ask himself. That gauge is not going down, so he might be good on fuel. That is a perfect strategy he has worked out if it goes all the way. 3 laps to go. 2 at the line coming next time around. Will he have that mood? Or, sorry, not mood. That fuel. I don't know why I said mood. But it happens. It happens. But that 94 does not look like it's running out of fuel anytime soon. If it does, he could very well stop. 2 at the line this time by. That 94 is not making that move down to pit road. Yeah, that fuel gauge is still good to go. We're going to go over here to John Horne. We're going to go take a look at... Oh, he almost got there. Yeah, he's in front of the leader, but that gap is definitely a lot bigger than... yeah, it's 47 seconds to be exact. As we see, that it looks like the 94 might have been sputtering a little bit or saving gas. I don't know what the deal was with that. But as we see, we go back here to Ronald. He is currently in 3rd place, 1 lap down. That is not what you want to see from someone, is them going a lap down. But that 94 is not slowing down whatsoever. White flag is in the air one last time around here at Daytona. We are on the final lap. The 94 has been strong all night. Will he have that chance to come out on top once again? I think this is the person that won the shootout last weekend. As we see, he is not looking shy of fuel. He is charging that area. He is getting help from that 89 car. That 89 is not making no moves. He is just going to sit there and help. Coming out, turn number 4, the number 94. Looking strong all day and all night. The number 94 will be your race winner here at Daytona. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, that does conclude the race here tonight. Your finishing order, number 94, Robbie Bunkner. Number 14 of John Horne. Number 20 of Ronald Goodrick. Since we do have some few cars, I think I'm not going to do the driver interviews here tonight. We'll probably be back next weekend with driver interviews for sure. Just tonight, just because of the amount of drivers, it's not worth doing the driver interviews. Other than that, remember, if you guys did enjoy this race, hit that thumbs up. If you are new to this channel, hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to turn on the notifications so you know when we're back live. Next weekend, we are at Michigan International Speedway, or Michigan Speedway, or however you want to say it. Then we are off to USA International Speedway for the short track race of the Dash for Cash. $50 on the line going to USA International. Next week, Michigan International, then off to USA. So make sure you stay tuned for that, guys. We will see you all later next weekend. Also, just reminding everyone, this series is brought to you by the Ruckus Speed Development. Also presented by Mr.E Performance. You need a legend cartoon, you hit up that number. Other than that, guys, we will see you next weekend at Michigan.